hey guys and gals, thanks for tuning in to Super Flies for Super Guys. This is how to make melted mono eyes. So what you're going to need for melted mono eyes is 50-pound mono filament. So I know you don't see it all that well on this video. So let's see if I can... This is clear monofilament, or you can, if you get colored monofilament. Now there are colored monofilaments, in this case black, or like a bluish black. I'm going to show you with this so that you might be able to see it a little bit better. Okay, now the reason for mono eyes is for all kinds of different bugs. So in this case, you can make shrimp eyes, so like on the shrimp here, right? You can make little grubs, you can make little nymphs with them, you know, whatever kind of eyes, like whatever kind of you're going to make. But for right this moment, I'm going to show you the shrimp eyes, and see how they're really elongated with the little ball on the top for the eye. Those are the ones I'm going to show you right now. So you're going to need a pair of hemostats. All right. And what you're going to do is you're going to put your mono in the hemostat, like so. And you're going to leave probably 3 or 4 centimeters of mono off the end. And then you're going to take a lighter, or whatever lighter you have. In this case, I have a little torch. All right, you're going to take it, you're going to light the end of your mono, and when it balls up, you can see it turn into a ball just before it turns into the end, like where it melts into your hemostats. You're going to stop it and give it a quick little shake, and what that's going to do is going to blow out the flame, and it's going to allow that little ball to form on the end, like that. All right. And then it only takes a couple of seconds, and you can touch it. If you touch it before it dries, you're going to know it, because it's going to like indent, or you're going to feel like a little sharp. But give it if you count to 10 seconds, it's usually solid. All right. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your other end of your mono, and you're going to do the exact same step. Melt it, melt it, melt it, and then give it a quick shake, and then tip it upside down, and it'll ball up into that little ball. And then you have little shrimpy eyes, right? And again, after a couple of seconds, it gets nice and hard. You can touch them. Easy peasy. Now, if they should not be dark enough for you, like if you want them to be, say, another color, for instance, let's just say you want them to be red. So we've already kind of made these ones blackish. So let's say you want 2 little red beady eyes on your shrimp. If you're making some sort of shrimp with you want red eyes, you could take some, in this case, Sally Hansen nail polish in red, and you can just dab it onto the ball of the eye, like so. And then you have red eyes. You can do the same to the other side. And now, your little crab or shrimp or crayfish will have little red eyes. Or you can make them any color you want. Bright orange, yellow, blue, whatever color you want. Now, if you do paint them with the nail polish, you are going to have to wait for them to dry before you can apply them, because you want to make sure they're not sticky anymore, right? Because you're just going to tie them on like that. So basically what you're going to do is you're just going to cut them to the length of the body of your fly, or how you're going to attach them, and then you can tie them, of course, into your fly. So for the moment, I'm just going to put these off to the side so they can dry, and I'm going to show you another set of eyes. So this time I will use the clear. So I have a fairly long piece of mono, but we're not going to use that long of a piece. What we're going to do is, I need a pair of scissors. Okay. So we're going to put our mono eyes into our pliers, and then we're going to cut it even on both sides. And you don't need it to be super long, right? But whatever you do on one side, make sure you have the same length on the other side. Then we'll put our mono off to the side. And again, we're going to melt the both sides. But because this is going to be more like a barbell sort of eye, but only a mono eye, then what we're going to do is we're going to leave that jointed in the middle. So we're just going to melt it. Before it gets to the center, we're going to shake it. And you see how it turns kind of like a brownish dark color? Alright, and just make sure that it's completely hard before you do the other side. And then we're going to melt the other side, and we're going to shake it. Alright. And you want to hold it for a couple of seconds. Alright, and then if you go in and touch them, you can see that they've hardened up. Alright, and then you have this little tiny barbell eyes. Now, before you apply them, you can pick which color you want. So if you, again, you want red, you can make red. If you want any color, you can make any color. In this case, I would like them to be black. So I'm going to take my black nail polish, and I'm just going to dab around. And as you see, it'll make them, color them black. Just like that. And of course, they're going to take a couple minutes to dry. And then if you're tying any little nymphs or any little bugs or little tiny micro buggers or streamers or anything, and you want that little buggy eye look, or any, scuds, if you're tying scuds, these are perfect eyes for scuds, then you have the perfect little eye for scuds. So I'm going to just put that off to the side, and we'll go back to our red ones, and they are now dry. So basically, as I was explaining before, you measure them to the size fly you're going to make. So if we were going to make a shrimp like this, and then you will just cut them evenly, and then you'll be able to just tie them in like that. And if you're sitting around one afternoon and you like thinking ahead, if you don't got much to do, and you're looking for something to do, just sit around, make some eyes in advance, and then when you're ready to use them, you're ready to use. So I hope that was helpful for everybody. So that's how you make mono eyes. And again, now those are dried. They dried pretty quick. It's kind of hard to see them. I guess you can see them a little bit on my hand there. They're very, very tiny eyes. Again, for like a little nymph or, something along that line. So that's mono eyes. And there's one more trick I'm going to show you guys in the mono eye family. Now this is using mono to connect two beads, and we're going to connect two little black beads and make like a beaded eye for if you want to make like a beaded eye shrimp. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick out two beads or not two beads. Okay, so we got two beads on our mono. They're very tricky to work with these little beads. Okay, so again, we're going to take our hemostats, and now what you want to do is you want to put your hemostats in between the two beads, and you want to leave 2 millimeters of mono sticking out the end. And now, just hold to one side because you don't want your other bead to fall off. What you're going to do is you're going to melt the mono, shake it, and then just touch it to your vise. Now I have my this is a neodymium magnet. This is to help me hold in materials while I'm tying. Okay. Now you can release your fly, and now you can see that this eye is melted onto your thing. Now what you can do is, if you don't want that little white, you can just take a dab of black nail polish and dab it on, and it'll cover that right up. But I'm not going to do that right this second because I'm going to finish this off. So you have a choice now. You can either make a big shrimp eye with it or crab eye, right? And if you're going to do that, then I would go on the other end of the mono and do the same step. Or you can do a dumbbell style eye, in which case you would take your mono, put it in between the two beads, cut it off to 2 millimeters, and repeat the same step, and then you will have a dumbbell eye. In this case, I'm going to use it as a shrimp eye because I do tie a lot of shrimps. So I'm just going to make that flush on the end. So I will hold it into put the mono in there, leaving 2 millimeters at the end. Melt it and just push it down. In this case it got a little gummed up, so I'll just tap it with the heat again. There we go. All right, so now in this case what we will have will be two shrimp eyes, but bigger. So now this gives you a bit more presence, so it looks a little more bulky on the eyes. So it just depends what kind of look you're looking for. And again, if you do a shrimp fly with it, you'll cut the mono to the length of the fly you're using, like so. All right. And if you want that little white, that's cool. If you wanted to put like a little red dot on the black, that's cool too. In this case, I want the black, but what I want to do is I want to take my crazy glue, and I just want to add a dab of crazy glue right on the end of that mono. Give it a couple of seconds to dry up. All right, so that dab of crazy glue will just make sure that that eye sticks onto that mono and it won't slide up and down the mono. And if you just want the eye to be like that color, you can just dab the black on the end like so. And if you want to have the whole stem of the eye, like often a shrimp or a crayfish will have like a little stem where their eye is on, you can color the mono to be the stem of the eye. So now you would have the whole stem. So those are your options. Those are things you can do with mono to make crazy good looking mono eyes. The beads are nice because they add weight. So a little glass bead adds a little bit of weight. So if you do a little glass beaded eyes, 2 of them actually adds a little bit of weight, helps your fly sink just a little bit faster, but it will just flutter in a normal pattern. All right, so I hope that was helpful. That's how I make mono eyes. Again, color them up how you want. Adjust the beads any way you want. Use clear beads, blue beads, red beads, any kind of beads. Whatever you find helpful. So I hope that was helpful, guys and gals. And keep your fly on the water. Fish on, Canada, and tight lines. Okay.